I am Technical Sergeant Joe Messenger, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. Today's event is a celebration of the remarkable achievements of these graduating airmen and guardians. It is also a ceremony that both teaches and appreciates our United States military heritage. Over the last 7.5 weeks, these individuals have been transformed from civilians into motivated, disciplined warrior airmen and guardians with a foundation to serve in the world's greatest United States air and space forces. Once these airmen and guardians leave basic military training, they will continue on to technical training to learn the skills needed to perform in their unique specialties. They will then transition onto the numerous bases around the world, some working directly with our sister services. Of the hundreds of thousands of American citizens that enter the workforce each year, less than 1% have joined the ranks of the United States military. These airmen and guardians have reached a milestone in their military journey and will require your continued support to assist them in their future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our official party and the playing of the national anthem.
Squadron! Aye! Hut! Present! Present! Huh!
Please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Morgan.
I invite you to pray with me. Almighty God, as we gather this morning to celebrate the culmination of BMT, we first thank you for all the strength you have given these young women and men to stay the course and accomplish the many challenges they have faced here. We thank you for the long days their MTIs have labored to train them, and also for the endowment of love from their families and friends who supported them and encouraged them from afar. As these trainees graduate BMT and go on to become airmen and guardians, may they be strengthened for the days of service ahead. And as these modern knights of valor take up the mantle of all those who've gone before, bless them and keep them safe as your face shines upon them and you bring them peace. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Basic Military Training Graduation Ceremony. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the host for today's ceremony. The Commander and Acting Superintendent, Air Force Basic Military Training, Colonel Megan Schaefer, and Chief Master Sergeant Lorenza Smart. Our guest speaker, the Commander and Command Chief, 688th Cyberspace Wing, Colonel Stephen Anderson, and Chief Master Sergeant Israel Yeager. From the graduating squadron, the Commander and Superintendent, 324th Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Werner and Chief Master Sergeant Nicole Hicks. Also in attendance with us today, the Executive Director and Acting Command Chief, 37th Training Wing, Mr. Jose Surita, and Chief Master Sergeant Gregory Butcher. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 737th Training Group is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the Superintendent, 324th Training Squadron, Chief Master Sergeant Hicks, will now come forward and say a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen watching via live stream, and congratulations to our graduates. Airmen and Guardians, you are joining a team of professionals dedicated to integrity, service, and excellence. The Airman's coin you received today may seem as though it's a simple coin, but it carries with it the heritage and history of our airmen. The men and women who have come before you have airlifted troops and supplies into the jungles of Vietnam, executed precision airstrikes into the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan, delivered humanitarian aid into the villages of Africa and South America. They have launched missiles, flown satellites, defended airstrips, and strengthened partnerships. They have stood at the North Pole, the South Pole, and everywhere in between. Over these past week, your MTIs were charged with mentoring, teaching, and molding you into an elite and lethal airman and guardian. Our core values have been ingrained within you, and a deep trust has been bestowed upon you. Trust is the most powerful currency in the world, and you are now in the business of trust. You have signed a blank check, payable with your life, because you know our country trusts that you will serve, protect, and defend our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. We trust that each and every one of you will take what you have learned here and unleash your full capabilities in order to uphold American air and space superiority. We trust to see great things from you. So I leave you with this. You are joining a team that we will look to you to define the character of our Air and Space Force for years to come. We have the utmost faith in you because every time you recite our Airman's Creed, you adamantly proclaim that you will not fail, and we believe you. As your superintendent, I hereby acknowledge your completion of all basic training graduation requirements and have recommended to the commander a basic military training that you receive your Airman's coin. Congratulations. Military training instructors, you may proceed.
At this part of the ceremony, the military training instructors will distribute the Venerable Airman's Coin, and for the first time, distinct Space Force coins to our Space Force graduates. The lore of military coins has many colorful suspected origins. However, a popular story stems from World War I, where American volunteers formed flying squadrons in France during the Great War. One of the volunteers was a wealthy lieutenant who took great pride in his service and had medallions cast in bronze, with his squadron's emblem on them. He gave those medallions to every member of his unit. Not long after, one of the pilots was shot down behind enemy lines and was captured by a German patrol. The German forces confiscated the pilot's possessions except for the pilot's medallion that he wore around his neck. While in confinement in a small French village, the captured pilot took advantage of a nighttime bombardment by the Allies. He donned civilian clothes and escaped after crossing the front lines to safety. He came across a French outpost where he was initially thought to be a saboteur until he showed them his unit coin. The French forces recognized the unit emblem, and instead of any harsher treatment, he received a bottle of wine. Today, several military units have developed their own coins and specific rules for them. Many organizations give out their unit coins to recognize outstanding performances and achievements. The coins the airmen and space professionals receive today are unique in that they originate here at the gateway to the Air Force and are only given to those who complete this rigorous course of instruction. On one side of the airman's coin, the original emblem of the Air Force resides as envisioned by General Henry Hap Arnold, one of the first military aviators and later commander of the Army Air Forces in World War II. Beneath the emblem, the year 1947, the birth date of the United States Air Force, and around the rim of the coin, the core values of the Air Force: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the newly recognized emblem of the Air Force, a symbol that honors the heritage of our past and represents the promise of our future. The emblem retains the core elements of the Henry Hap Arnold emblem, the Arnold wings, and the star within a circle. The modern effect of the emblem reflects our Air and Space Force today and into the future. Inscribed in a half circle above the contemporary Air Force emblem is the Air Force motto, "Aim high, fly, fight, win." And on the border of the coin, a reminder to all who see this is inscribed, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming an airman in the world's greatest Air Force." The Space Professional coin also has a distinctive design. On one side, it displays the original emblem of the Space Force, the Delta, which was first used by space units in 1961, and honors the heritage of the United States Space Force. Beneath the emblem is the year 2019, the birth date of the United States Space Force. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the Space Force motto, "Semper Supra," which translates to "always above." This represents the Space Force's role in establishing, maintaining, and preserving our nation's dominance and freedom of operations in the space domain. On the coin's border is a commemorative inscription that reads, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming a charter member of the United States Space Force."
Congratulations, Airmen and Guardians. Now, how about that squadron pride?
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as our newest Airmen and Guardians recite the Airman's Creed.
Squadron! Attention!
I am an American Airman. Thank you. Please be seated.
Ready!
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander, 688th Cyberspace Wing, Colonel Anderson, will now come forward and say a few words.
Thank you very much. So I'll always follow a chief everywhere I go, but I've got to learn to stop following chiefs when speaking. Chief, motivational, inspirational, absolutely perfect, and followed by what the Airman just did, Airman's Creed, it gives us goosebumps. If people don't walk away from today feeling that, they just don't get it. So thank you very much. So let me begin by saying to the families, we wish you could be here physically to support your loved ones. 7.5 weeks ago, you entrusted us with the nation's most valuable treasure, your sons and daughters. Your support has pushed these airmen and guardians to successfully complete basic military training and join the world's greatest air and space forces. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for your support and encouragement, but more importantly, thank you for your trust. Before we get any further, I would also like to say thanks to all the veterans who are watching or here either online or in person. This is the legacy. These are the ones who are going to carry this on, the defense of our Constitution and our nation and all that we believe in. Also to the MTIs in the crowd and the recruiters who are watching, thank you very much. You are absolutely leaving trust and confidence in the leaders out in the Air Force and the Space Force that you are building tomorrow's leaders. Thank you very much. It's my great honor to hold a ceremony introducing 536 airmen and 35 guardians from the 324th Training Squadron as our nation's newest airmen and guardians. Having walked across the BMT Basic Military Training graduation line 28 years ago this month, I can't tell you what a privilege and how humbling it is to share a few minutes with you today. As the son of a retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant, the Air Force truly is part of my lifelong family and journey. I hope to share a few thoughts and words of wisdom with you today. Let's start with the bottom line up front. The reason we're all here today is to thank today's graduates for freely raising their hand to selflessly serve and defend the Constitution of the United States and our nation's force and our requirements. Without you, there is no guarantee that our nation is able to live free as we do today with our personal beliefs and freedoms of choice. As you begin your military career, like anything in life, I truly believe there is no limit to what each of you can achieve through hard work, focus, and applying lessons learned from those who've come before you. Most of you may not remember much of today's ceremony, aside from graduation, but let me briefly share a couple of lessons. First, the adage of grow where you're planted applies no matter where we serve. Serving as part of a team always delivers greater outcomes than individual efforts. But it is our individuality and our experiences that make the whole team better when we contribute what only we bring to the fight. Every one of you bring value to our air and space forces. I challenge you to inject yourself and never let anyone prevent your voice from being heard or limit the contributions you offer. Always try to leave the organization better than you found it when you arrived, always improving your team and yourself along the way. Next, our mission is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. To achieve this, we all must focus on controlling things that are only within our control. Two activities that are solely within your personal control is your performance and attitude. How we choose to wake up each day and perform to the best of our ability with an attitude that's positive and inclusive is our own choice. Using a sports analogy, leave it on the field every day and you'll succeed in all you strive to do. Finally, live our service core values: integrity, service, and excellence. They're more than words, they're a way of life. Always remember the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated, with equality, dignity, and respect each and every day. Having said that, do not confuse the thinking that someone is not treating you equally because they're challenging you and pushing you to be your very best. There are times it will be difficult. That does not mean the challenge is insurmountable. At times, we all need pushed and help to reach our full potential. Speaking of reaching full potential, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize basic military training's most outstanding performer, someone who demonstrated their ability to successfully navigate all assessments, testing their physical abilities, academic aptitude, and adaptability to military environment through multiple progress checks. This airman has surpassed all others in the challenges of training and earned the distinction of being the top graduate of this class. The top graduate is from Flight 427, Airman Tobiah Eddy. The recruiter of Airman Eddy is Tech Sergeant Garrison Kohlers from the 330th Recruiting Squadron, JBSA, Lackland, Texas. Congratulations. I just have one question for you. Are you ready to join the ranks of the world's greatest air and space forces? I think they're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Colonel Anderson will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Squadron! Aye! Take heart!
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. And the orders of the officers appointed over me. According to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
Thank you, Colonel Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of our official party.
1, 2, right up, side! Hold the fuse from the left! Out hard! Hard!
From the 324th Training Squadron, Flight 415, led by Staff Sergeant Emily Eddy, military training instructor, home time, Palisade, Colorado. Excellence and Academic Excellence Flight 416, led by Technical Sergeant Alyssa Larson, military training instructor, hometown, Hopeville, California. Flight 417, led by Technical Sergeant Brooke Held, Master Military Training Instructor, hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee. Top PT Flight 418, led by Technical Sergeant Benjamin Judy, military training instructor, hometown, Devonport, Iowa. Flight 421, led by Staff Sergeant Jesse Daniel, military training instructor, hometown, Warner Robins, Georgia. Flight 422, led by Technical Sergeant Falsetto Gill, Jr., military training instructor, hometown, Houston, Texas. PT Excellence, Flight 423, led by Technical Sergeant Charlie Maskell, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Fort Fairfield, Maine. Flight 424, led by Technical Sergeant Shakita James, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Chicago, Illinois. Flight 425, led by Technical Sergeant Skylar Cooper, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Cottonwood, Arizona. Flight 426, led by Staff Sergeant Alexandria Washington, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Maxton, North Carolina. Flight 427, led by Technical Sergeant Troy Raymer, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Vandalia, Ohio. Flight 428, led by Technical Sergeant Dontario Davis, military training instructor, hometown, Memphis, Tennessee. Flight 429, led by Technical Sergeant Eric Mistro, Master Military Training Instructor, hometown, Houston, Texas. Commander's Excellence Flight 430, led by Technical Sergeant Billy Waller, military training instructor, hometown, Crestview, Florida. Flight 431, led by Technical Sergeant Jonah Cowman, military training instructor, trainer, hometown, Rolling Stone, Minnesota. From the 331st Training Squadron, Flight 550, led by Technical Sergeant Sarah Fierro, military training instructor, hometown, Carlsbad, New Mexico.